Okay, about ready to get started, everybody. Good to see those of you who are joining us already. Oh, here I am. Hello, hello. Boom, boom, ba-da. All right. My laptop plugged in. Dun, 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 dun. Whoop. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. Well, whoop. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Selfridge. Welcome to our live stream. We're here every Sunday at right about this time, 3 o'clock. Good to see you all. I believe we should be live both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and put your comments in the chat, and we'll be highlighting some comments and answering some questions. And then we'll also, if you're watching on Facebook, we have our staff, our team who helps out with the chat. We'll be keeping an eye on our Facebook chat and putting some of those comments over here into the YouTube chat so I can see your comments. So very excited to see everybody here today. If you're new to the show, we talk about band instruments and questions you might have about playing instruments. But I'm getting to the questions soon. I do want to introduce, of course, our friend Dennis is back. So let's say hi to Dennis. Dennis, you are with us, correct? Can you hear?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yeah.
So welcome back. You had a rehearsal last week, right? For your.
Yeah, we're getting close, but we've been running through the presentation. It's been good. So,
excellent. When is the actual concert?
well, the first one we have is, I think in middle of June.
Okay.
Someday around the 15th or so.
Great.
And then we have different ones going through. We're going to actually do one in media. I'll let you know as we get closer that that's going to be open.
Very nice.
And we're going up to the Reading Phillies to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Wonderful.
At the end of the summer. So,
oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be anything like the heat of today and yesterday.
I hope not.
So welcome back to Dennis. And Dennis keeps an eye on the chat and helps me out with highlighting questions that I might have missed. So the other big news today, everybody, is you may have seen me before the class started, playing my piano, which I like to do before class starts. You might notice that I've been playing one-handed today, and that is because, everybody, I don't know if anyone watches my Instagram page, but I put up an Instagram post at Dr. Selfridge Music that I was very excited to be playing in our faculty-student basketball game this past Friday night at my high school. It was a lot of fun. I used to play basketball back in my younger days in high school for fun. I didn't play on any really competitive teams, but I played a lot just for fun. And so it was fun sort of going back to my roots there. But I actually managed to injure myself, and I promised I wouldn't do that. But you can see my little brace here. I had a little injury to my wrist. So unfortunately, I cannot play pretty much any of my normal instruments this week. I can play piano, and I can play trumpet one-handed. So if you guys have requests I normally do a bunch of requests on saxophone and flute and clarinet, none of which I can really play. Hopefully in a couple days, when my hand gets a little bit more recovered, I can use my fingers a little better and I can actually play. So what today is going to be, everybody, is may end up being a little bit of a shorter show. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer as many of your questions as I can. And unfortunately, I can't really do saxophone or clarinet or flute requests today. So thank you all for checking in. I'm actually going to go right to our comments and questions, okay? And let's just keep rocking and rolling, okay? So the first comment, let me switch over here. We're going to say hello to our good friend Mike Hamilton, who's here almost every week, one of our most loyal members here on the show. And Mike is saying hola, as he always says, and Mike has requested the saxophone part of the Logical song by Supertramp. What I can do, Mike, even though I can't play it, is I can do what I normally do, guys, is I go to YouTube and I look up the song. Actually, sometimes I go to YouTube. I'm also typing one-handed. Thankfully, one thing I'm really thankful about is that it could have been worse in so many ways. I mean, number one, I'm really happy that I didn't injure my ankle or my foot, because if I had, if that happened, then, I think it's much easier to deal with this than to not be able to walk. So I'm very happy about that. And then also it's my left hand and I'm right-handed. So even though it's you, actually, let me bring Dennis in here. Dennis, because you said, do you have a brace on as well right now?
Not a brace, it's a wrapping from that, but it's from a whole different thing. I've been having cancer, skin cancer type of things being done by, Maru's surgeon.
Oh, okay.
And they keep it wrapped up, but I have to have it wrapped and,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't realize until you lose one of your hands how many things in your life you do with two hands.
Absolutely.
It's, just buttoning buttons and things, it's an adjustment. So, I will take care of this and hopefully it'll be healed up soon. But, all right. So going to this request from Mike, let me try to look up this song and see if I can listen to the saxophone part. So this is the song that Mike requested, and it's the saxophone part. Oh, I know this song. I'm going to skip ahead to find the saxophone part. What? Oh, here we go. Here it is. Okay, that's an alto sax, and I can already tell that they're playing what's called a blues scale. Let me listen again a little bit to what scale they're on. Da 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 da. Okay, so he's on an he or she, whoever's playing the saxophone. The saxophone is playing on a C blues scale. Let me show you. So it would be on the alto sax. This would be a high E flat, E flat D, E flat D, up in the palm keys, which I certainly can't do with this. But let's listen to it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So that's what it is, Mike. This solo on the sax is on an A minor blues scale. So for alto sax, it would be A, C, palm key D, palm key E flat. So an A minor blues scale for the alto sax. Listen to a little bit more. Yep. Yeah, it's all on the A blues scale. So A, C, D, D sharp, or otherwise known as E flat, E, G, A. So there you go, Mike. Quick answer to that. Saying hi to Zavolian, our friend, and Tanner Ruby. And let's see, what else? Saying hi to Terry, who is here in the chat, helping us out. So Jonathan is asking for euphonium class. Okay. Actually, that's one instrument I could play with my one hand, although I don't have a euphonium with me. So, if you come back, Jonathan, or if you have a specific euphonium question, I can answer it for you. Okay, Zavolian is asking, how do I pick songs for my performing ensembles? So here's what I do, Zavolian, for when I'm choosing music. Actually, I was just thinking about, because we're at the end of our school year, I'm already thinking about what songs I'm going to be choosing for next year for each of my groups. I've got a wind ensemble, I've got a concert band, 2 different groups, I have a jazz band, marching band. We've already picked the music. We've already picked the show. So let's talk about how I pick music for concert band or wind ensemble. So my number one consideration is picking a diverse selection of different genres and style. Genres and styles are kind of the same thing. Different types of songs, so that not every song is the same tempo and the same intensity and the same style. You want to make sure you have something that's like slow and pretty, lyrical. You want to have something fast and exciting. You want to have something in a traditional march style, because that's a real solid part of the genre. You want to have something that is maybe more of a modern piece and something that's more of a classic, older piece. What else? So then that's probably my first consideration. Okay. Then also looking at the difficulty level of the group. So what would be the appropriate songs to challenge the group, but not be too easy for them, but not be too hard for them. Then you want to look at maybe the strengths of your group. If you have a particularly good section, like if I have a really good trumpet section, I might choose. This past semester we did Bugler's Holiday, which features 3 trumpet soloists, or a trio. I think about maybe, being also diverse in the composers that I choose to program, rather than just going with folks who are the established, old guard of composers. You want to try some new composers, right? And try to get some different voices in there. What else? I think that's about it. And then usually, at least once every concert, I try to include a piece of music that is sort of a core part of the repertoire, something classic. It's like in your reading class or your English class, you want to include maybe something more modern, but you want to put something in there that's more of a classic, like Shakespeare, or I'm sure there's many examples, but that's how I choose my music. Okay. So Tanner had this request last week, and I think, Tanner, what you want is this song. So again, I can't play it on alto sax because I've already talked about that because of this, but I'm going to look it up. It's been a long, long time. I know this is a popular tune nowadays because I think it was in a Marvel movie, right? So, all right, here's the tune. Let's listen to it. It was in Avengers. Let's listen to it. Okay, so let's get the key. All right, so this is in concert A flat. Check it out on the piano. So we have. So it's an A flat major triad. On alto sax, that would be F A C, F A C. On trumpet, it's B flat D F. Now what happens is the top 2 notes stay the same, right? I can play sort of two-handed here. So you got the bottom note. Okay, you can hear I'm even a little bit gingerly with my hand here. So I'm going to do it with my right hand. Okay, check it out. Okay, that next phrase is. On sax, alto sax, that'd be C, C, D, C, D, D sharp, E. Okay, so check it out. It starts like this. And the introduction, he just does chromatic. This is Harry James, by the way. It's Harry James playing trumpet. That's why I'm saying he. He plays this chromatic 4-note down to the first note of the phrase. So I could talk about this in trumpet key because it's trumpet. Ba-da-da-da-da. My tuning slide is out. And so since you asked for it on alto sax, Tanner, I'll show it to you one more time on alto sax notes, okay? So this is piano, but you would play on alto sax, you'd play from A, chromatic, to F. A flat, G, G flat, F, and then it's F, A, C, F, E, A, C, E, D, E, D, E, D. Okay, and then it's a C, C, D, C, D, D sharp, E. Okay, and then from there, ya da da. And it's the same idea, but it starts on the one step higher. Okay, so there's the idea of it. Okay, and like I always do with these requests, I'll just kind of show you the idea of it. But if I was going to show you the whole song, it would take me quite a long time. But there's the beginning part for you. Okay, so hopefully that was interesting. Mike, thank you for commenting on the sound. I appreciate it. Now we have another friend joining us from Brazil, Renan Camargo. Looks like a new name. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, but thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Charity is checking in and saying happy Sunday. Thank you, Charity. I appreciate it. Kevian is asking what reed brand for clarinet and strength is great for high notes. So I would say it's not that I'm recommending this specifically for high notes. When you are advancing on clarinet, right? You're a beginner. Maybe you're starting on a 2.5. Some teachers start beginners on 3s. So you're on a 3. Maybe you're playing a Van Doren. That's kind of the standard. Van Dorens are great. Matter of fact, I think that's pretty much what I play on, a Van Doren, just a standard Van Doren. You can play around with the different cuts that they have, but I just like a standard blue box Van Doren, and I play a 3, sometimes a 3.5. But once you get to that 3.5 level, that's pretty much good for playing high notes on the clarinet as long as you have a good reed. So Van Doren 3 is what I'm going to recommend. But it's personal preference in there too. It's not the same for everyone. Okay, so our friend here, Harina Rayanan, is asking for my favorite piece on flute. I would gladly do that for you, but I can't really play the flute today, as I explained. But thank you for that. Chris, good evening from a very happy Leeds United supporter. Leeds managed to survive. That's great. So, Chris, I have to say I don't follow football, but if you could let me know, does that mean did you guys win like the whole thing? Dennis, do you happen to know? Do you follow this at all? I don't know if you're online with us, Dennis, but Chris.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I really wasn't following it.
Yeah, he said Leeds United.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they won the whole thing or.
Yeah, it might have been.
I don't even. Would that be the World Cup? Is that what that would be? I don't know.
No. It's not the World Cup. It's more important than that. It's the Championship of England.
Oh, okay. maybe
it's really important.
Maybe Chris will follow up with us on that.
Yeah. Watch Ted Lasso. You'll learn more.
Oh, I've heard great things about that show. I do need to watch it.
Yeah.
So we have a comment here. A lot of new names today, which is nice. Romani Talent Andra. I hope I'm saying your name correctly again. Sorry about your arm. Can I please play Windy and Company? Let's see. I've never heard of this song. I'm going to look it up. No need to apologize. This is unusual today that I've got this arm situation. I've never, speaking of that, I have never had, not even a sprain really. I've never had any kind of an injury to any of my limbs. So this is new territory for me. Windy and Company, I guess, or Windy and Co, whatever that means. So I'm looking for it, but I'm seeing Windy and Company, but I'm seeing different songs. So is that the name of the band or is that the name of a song is my question. I'm seeing a lot of the same song though. Conker's Bad Fur Day. So is this a video game? Let's listen. Here we go. My first time hearing this. Oh. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause it there. And if our friend here, Romani, could check in and let me know if that's the right song, okay? And I'll come back to it. Here's a question I can answer in the meantime. Piada. How do you turn flute notes into clarinet notes? Good. This is an easy one. Flute plays what's called concert key. So flute plays exactly what the piano plays. Other instruments that are concert key, violin, all the string instruments. So anyway, clarinet and trumpet are the same. They have to go up one note or one whole step from concert pitch. So let me show you. Here's a piano. So say your flute has a C. The clarinet has to go up one whole step. So in most cases, that's one letter note, like C. The clarinet would play a D, okay, to make the same sound. It's one letter, but the way you're supposed to calculate it is to go 2 half steps. So C, C sharp, D. That's a whole step. So flute, clarinet. So say we were on like a flute G, clarinet would go to A. Okay? So that'd be the same note. Flute would play this, clarinet would play that, and they would sound the same. The reason I'm pointing out the 2 half steps thing is because it gets a little tricky. Like if the flute's playing an E, the clarinet can't just play an F because that wouldn't be right. The clarinet has to go 2 half steps. So the flute's E, clarinet has to play F sharp. Okay, does that make sense? So it's a whole step, 2 half steps. All right. Shrek is a legend is saying hello. Hello. Thank you, Shrek. I appreciate it. Happy Sunday to Miriam. And let's go. Lots of comments today. Great, great, great. Here's a comment that Dennis highlighted for us that I missed from Charity. Dynamics on clarinet. I have to play at a piano dynamic. I usually play quietly, and it's sometimes hard to use more air, but still stay soft. Yes. This is something I can do one-handed. So I can do this one-handed. So because I don't have to change my notes, I'm going to hold my clarinet incorrectly though, because you support your clarinet with your left hand, which I can't. So first of all, your clarinet, you want to make sure your clarinet reed is really fully ready to go, which means it can't be dry, or else it doesn't vibrate the way it needs to vibrate. Oh, I should have taken it off now. I shouldn't have taken my reed off, but I think I can do this one-handed. The secret to playing soft on clarinet is you take a deep, deep breath and you have a lot of air pressure going. So you really want to, you feel like you're using a lot of air pressure, but you also feel like you're sort of holding your breath so it's less breath going through. So it's like you're holding your breath, but you're also blowing hard at the same time, if that makes sense. So for me, the sensation is that I'm holding my breath, and I'm also doing a little bit more, slightly more pressure from my bottom lip into the reed, kind of giving it a little bit more support so it still vibrates while the air is flowing through it. Okay? So that's how I practice. I do this thing with exercise with my students called maximum piano, maximum pianissimo, actually. So you hold a long tone for as long as you can. Meanwhile, you get as soft as you can while still maintaining a solid tone. I'll try it again. Good embouchure. Deep, deep breath. So I'm not getting the best sound. I'm getting a little bit of the fuzziness, which will happen if you're not fully warmed up and your reed isn't quite ready to go. But that's the idea. Just keep working on that and try to get rid of all the extra sounds. Just go for the core center of the sound. All right. So Miriam, my goal today was so last week I started a little bit late. I don't remember why. I forget what I had. But I usually try to start right on the hour. So today, 3 o'clock Eastern time, trying to start on the hour. I try to be as consistent as I can. Okay, Charity, tips. Oh, I just answered that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's Christopher is checking in on about that sax solo we listened to earlier. Mike says, why in the circle of fourths in one direction? This is a good question. And so, Mike, folks, last week we talked about the circle of fourths and the circle of fifths. And so let me just show you a picture. So we can, here we go. So here is, let's see if you guys can see this. Here we go. There we go. So here's a circle of keys. And so we talked about this last week, which is, probably why Mike has a question this week. So this, when you have an interval going up, so C going up to F, C, D, E, F, that's a fourth because you count the note you started on and you go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the thing about intervals is when you invert them, let's see. How do I want to explain this? It's really just, so Mike, it's really just two perspectives of doing the same thing. So we could go in this direction, C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A, and it keeps working its way around. And eventually you end up where you started at C, right? Up a fifth, up a fifth, up a fifth. So the intervals are always thinking of going up, right? Circle of fourths, I'm going up. C, D, E, F. F, G, A, B flat. B flat, C, D, E flat. Going up a fourth. You could, if you wanted to turn around your thinking a little bit, you could think about this as going down a fifth, right? C, B, A, G, F is a fifth. C, B, A, G, F. That's a fifth going down. So it's a little confusing, I know. But if you go in one direction, C, D, E, F, it's a fourth. And if you go thinking in the other way, C, D, E, F, G, they're all fifths. I don't know how clearly I explained that. I might have made you more confused. But it takes a while to wrap your head around some of this music theory stuff. Fluttering Music says, hello, hi to you. Again, another new name. All right, so I want to make sure I say this correctly. Harina Rayanan says, how can I get a musical degree and do a PhD in flute? Well, so you would have to start by getting a bachelor's degree in music, in flute. So you have to find a university that you can attend, whether it's someplace near you or if you want to travel and go somewhere else. But you would, in order to get into the university, you have to start taking lessons on the flute and get good enough to audition and know your basic fundamentals of playing the flute, all of your scales, being able to play some etudes and some classical pieces. and then you get accepted into the university. You attend 4 years or so of undergraduate, taking lessons, participating in different ensembles and classes. Then you go on and get your master's degree. Sometimes you could stay at the same university. You could go somewhere else. You audition for that, a couple years there, and then you go on and you pursue your PhD in performance. And that's, by the time you're getting to do your PhD in performance, you are a really, really serious player, and you know a lot of repertoire, and you're very advanced at performing. So that was the long answer. The short answer is practice a whole lot and apply to university. Okay. Do I know fluttering music? Do I know ABRSM grade 1 A1 flute? I'm not familiar with what specifically is in that designation. I have heard of the ABRSM, but I don't know what's involved with that. I'd have to Google it. I probably could play it if I was in playing condition. So I'll take a look at that maybe another time when I'm able to play. A backing track for Eclipse by Agato Barbieri. Well, let's see. I'm going to look it up. I'm looking up YouTube. Let's see what comes up. Here's what it sounds like. I know Agato Barbieri is a famous saxophone player. I would be surprised. Okay, so now I'm looking for play along. I'm not finding it. Ooh, I found one for a different song, Europa. Here, check it out. This is what I'm looking at, by the way. So I found it for this song, but I don't see any backing tracks. You can search for the word play along. Sometimes backing track. People use that term. Oop. Let's see. No, I don't see it. Okay. So usually if you're looking for backing tracks or play-along tracks, you'll find them for more of the more common jazz standards and songs. But the less common, or I would say more obscure, I don't want to say obscure, but less well-known pieces, you're less likely to find play-along tracks for them. Green Onions on Piano. Let's see. I kind of forget how this one goes, but let me listen to it. I think that's it. Yeah, I was in the wrong key though. Okay, I found the key. It's kind of funny. I was just talking about this song. I forget who I was talking to. Okay, so let's talk about this for a little bit. So I wish I could remember who I was talking to about this. But it's what's great about this tune. It's got a great groove to it. It's based on a particular song form called the blues. It's a 12-bar blues, except it's in minor. So we start in F minor. So it's F and then A flat, B flat. So it's 1, flat 3, flat 4, and just does that a few times. Well, it does it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you know the blues form, the next thing that would happen is it goes up to the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes to B flat twice, and then it goes back to the 1 chord. Then, for the last 4 bars, you get the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the 4. And then the 1. So this song is just repetitions of that 12-bar form over and over again. And, you know, I'm playing the bass line right now. I have to try to figure out what the upper, like the chord part is. Check it out. Let's take it back here. Oh yeah. Ba, ba, ba. What's happening there? Hold on. La, la, la. Da, 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 da. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to play along with that bass line with the music, okay? Here we go. Check it out. I'll let you watch it on piano. Turn up my sound a little bit. All right, here we go. 3, 4, then changes. Oh no, that's just intro. Still the intro. Now the song starts. 1. Oh, my bad. Back to 1. Now the 5 chord. 4, 1. And then there's the melody. Yeah, and the piano. Something like that. Okay, so there's a little bit of that song. That's a lot of fun to play. Amelia wants Careless Whisper on trumpet. So let's do this. Let me get to some questions, and then I'll get to more requests, okay? Fluttering music. What happened to my hand? So I think I mentioned this earlier in the show. I was playing in a student faculty basketball game Friday night, and I fell. And you know, when you fall, you put your hand down. I've fallen many times during athletic things and basketball things, but you know, the Friday night I just had the bad luck of I fell the wrong way and had a little injury to my wrist, so I can't really play for a few weeks. David is checking in. Hi to David. Facebook comments. Chris, Tom, and Alexander Taylor expressed good well wishes, so thank you very much. As It Was by Harry Styles on trumpet. Okay, I will come back to that one as well. Okay, so let's get back to Romani said this is the right song, that song I was listening to before. So let's listen to it. This is Windy and Company. And it's like electronic music that looks like it goes with a video game. That's clarinet. Okay. I think I've talked to you guys before about how important it is for musicians to sing. And I'm not talking about, like I said, I always say to my students, it's not about singing to become someone who's going to go on stage and sing with a band or sing for an audience. The singing for an instrumentalist is a tool. It's a learning tool. So matching notes that you hear, playing them on your instrument. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to learn this song by ear because I don't have sheet music for it. Okay. I can hear already that this note. Okay. Okay, so it's an A. So I know what that is, and I can transpose it for trumpet. But here's the thing, it's a little bit tricky. So when you have these songs, especially this one, this was made, you can tell it's like computer-generated notes. These aren't real. It's not a real clarinet. It's not a real trumpet. It's a computer synthesized sound. And it's a little bit of an awkward key to play in, but I'm going to try it. Let's just get that. Okay, so it's for trumpet. B, F sharp, G sharp, ba ba da, ba ba da. Again, my slide's coming out. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's in a little bit of an awkward key for trumpet. I would probably to make this easier on trumpet, I would transpose it to C. I'd go. I'd put it up 1/2 step into C. You hear how it's the same melody, but it's transposed? Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play that part again, but I'm going to do it in the original key, the B major. And then it goes. Hold on. Okay. So there we go. That's at least the beginning of it. It's a fun, jazzy little song. But again, that's all I'm going to get into right now, just for time's sake. But that's the idea. That's a fun little tune. All right, let's get to some more requests. Let's go to some more questions, okay? Kevian says, I use Van Doren, Rico, and Juno. Van Doren and Rico don't make a strong sound on the clarinet. Juno is the best for me because it's strong sound. Interesting. You know, I mean, if that's what works for you, that's totally fine. I don't know if I would necessarily agree for me that Van Doren doesn't make a strong sound. You really have to go through and try out different reeds. Even if you buy a box of reeds, since they're made of a natural material, there's a lot of variability, unfortunately. Variation, I should say. A lot of variation in the quality from one reed to another. You have to go through and find the right one, even in a box of reeds. So I would say give Van Doren another try. Okay? Let's see. I could play. Yes, I can play. I could play it on my keyboard. Any song. Jesus, do I play oboe? I do play oboe, although I will admit it's not the highest on my list of ones that I'm good at. Right. But I'd say a tip I have for beginner oboe, a big helpful hint that I would say is really make sure whenever you're practicing your notes, you either use a tuner to show you, like say you're trying to play a B on the oboe. A big issue that beginner oboes have is you'll press the right button down for the note, but if your embouchure is not really strong and you're doing the O-shaped embouchure and really having good muscles, you'll be flat. You won't be in tune. So always use a reference pitch, whether it's like say you're trying to play a long note on B. I go with my oboe students and I go to YouTube and I do B tuning note. So I'm just typing in the words B tuning note. Here it is. So check it out. This is what I'm looking at. And then I would just find a perfect pitch B. Let's just go here. This one's 20 seconds long. Let's see what it's. So there's a B. That's a sine wave, like a sine wave. We'll just go. Let's try this one. I don't know why it's clicking. Oh, it's a guitar tuner. Let's go here. There it is. And you go and you play the note on your oboe. And make sure you adjust your embouchure to really get, and also use a lot of strong air to make sure you're bringing that note into tune. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so we're actually doing pretty well here. We're at 3. We're almost almost finished the show, really. Let's get at some more comments, questions, and I'll maybe do a few more songs. Okay. Zach says, I had my band concert and my school band got a 1 in sight reading. Now, you have to help me out. Zach, is that 1 meaning 1 is the high score or 1 is the low score? I'll approach it both ways. First of all, if you got a 1 and a 1 means that was like a really high score, that's great because sight reading is actually one of the hardest things to do for school bands. And so if you got a low score, I wouldn't feel too badly about it, because that's something we can work on. We can all work on for our own improvement. I know for my band at school, probably sight reading is the weakest part of of our skill set, because it's something you need to really work on. So me as a teacher, I probably could do a better job of every rehearsal handing something new. That's why sight reading is hard, actually, because if you want to practice sight reading, you constantly have to be giving new music to your students, right? And trying something new, because sight reading is a skill that you develop by getting new material and being forced to play something on the spot. So thank you for that's it's a great point. Sight reading is a very important thing to work on. Okay. Yes, the blues, going back to Green Onions. Let's see. Josh Pritchard. Josh Pritchard said, if you remember, we finally got to have our concert, but it was virtual. We played at school and they recorded us. Okay, that's great. I know depending on where you live in the country or the world, there's still different protocols happening for COVID. So I'm glad you were able to have some form of concert. So congratulations on that. 2 Fridays ago. Yes, okay. Fur Elise on flute. I cannot play it on flute right now, Donna, but I can play it on piano. Although I'm not really a piano player, but... I should look that up. So there's Fur Elise. It is an A minor. That's a very nice tune. It's a very popular song. Anyone know who composed that? Trivia question. Tips for not squeaking on middle G flute. This is something I can do one-handed. Actually, not really. I'm gonna. No, I can't do it. I'm gonna hold my flute incorrectly. This is really weird. No, I can't really do this. I thought I could, but I can't quite do it. The thing about I'll show you here. The thing about G on flute, if you're squeaking on it, are you squeaking on the one on top of the staff or the one on the second line? I'm guessing maybe the top one. Work on your octaves on your flute. Just take a medium note. I might be able to do a B or B flat. Okay, here's a B flat. I'm barely getting it. When you squeak, what you're actually doing is you're hitting an overtone that you're not intending to hit. An overtone is just a pitch that's naturally present in the sound that comes out depending on your embouchure. Okay? So work on just one note. Low octave, high octave, and then your overtones. You hear that really, really, really teeny tiny high B flat in there? The overtones are done with the aperture, the size of the hole in your lips, and your airstream. So if you work on your overtones, you're gaining control over, you're getting better control, excuse me, and put this down here. You're getting better control over your embouchure, and that you'll be less likely to get a high overtone when you don't want it. Okay. Sophia says, I don't like my band class. I'm sorry to hear that. Sophia, sometimes... Sophia, let me know. Tell me... well, you don't have to tell me anything else. Just think about, if you don't like your band class, maybe stick with it, right? And if you like playing an instrument, but you don't like the particular class that you're in, maybe it's the other students around you, maybe you don't quite feel like the teacher and you get along, or whatever it might be. Think about, if you like playing your instrument, keep playing your instrument, and maybe, hopefully, in another year, maybe you'll have a different band class, right? Maybe things will change, and you'll have a chance to maybe enjoy it a little bit more. So I would say stick with it if you can, and then in another year or two, your class might change, and you might enjoy it better. That's the best advice I have. Oh, Zach said it's the high score. Okay, good. I couldn't tell. If you get a 1, because when we go to our jazz band festivals, like a 5 is the high score and a 1 is the low score, right? So that's great. That's a great score to do for sight reading. Sophia got Beethoven composed for Elise. Very good. So do you guys know what for Elise means? That's another trivia question. Does anyone know what the title means? All right, let's get to some more questions here. More questions, and also we want to welcome our new folks who have signed in today and joined us. Hopefully we got you your name there on our welcome message there. But thank you everyone else who is new today. Yeah, okay. Let's go to Alana. Alana says, I'd love to be able to participate in a concert, but unfortunately it's my last year in band at my current school, and there's still restrictions on performances. Okay, like I said, it really depends on where you are. In our particular part of the country, the transmission rates for COVID have gone down pretty low, and so all of our school districts have pretty much opened up to back to normal and masks optional. And so thankfully we were able to have a normal spring concert. So, but Alana says, all right, I'm glad you're still playing, and make sure you stick with it. I'm hoping by next year all this stuff is going to be in the past and we'll be back to normal concerts. Yep, you're right, Sophia. It literally means for Beethoven had a student. I think it was a student of his that he wrote this melody for, named Elise. And so it's literally for Elise. More new folks that Teresa has highlighted for us. Donna and Dustin and Alana. And Zach says, talks a lot. Who talks a lot? I talk a lot because I'm the only one talking. But I want, just curious what, maybe you're answering a question I talked about earlier. Let's see. Oh, let's go back to a request that somebody had. Somebody wanted a song that I didn't get to. I can't recall. So, guys, here's what we'll do, because we're almost done. Sophia, are you using? That's the number one rule for trivia is don't use Google, but that's okay. Oh, Zach said my class talks a lot. Yeah, I see that a lot. I remember when I taught elementary band and in middle school band, sometimes you get some talkative. Even in high school band, you get some talkative classes. My students do a pretty good job at the high school level. They like to talk, but they also are good at getting focused when we need to rehearse. So, guys, we're close to the end, okay? Actually, let's bring Dennis in. Hey, Dennis, are you still with us?
Still here.
Okay, good. So, as we wrap up, I just thought maybe if you wanted to share, you think you'll be joining us next week?
Yeah, I should be.
Okay, good. So
that Memorial Day.
Oh, Memorial Day. You know what? We're gonna take. That's a good point. That's a good point. We're gonna take next week off. Because I'm going to be probably away. Are you going to be around?
I'll be down the shore.
You're going to be down the shore? Okay. Yeah. So that's a great point, everyone. We're going to be off next weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. So traditionally it's a weekend where people take a little vacation, a little break. So that's where I will be. So we won't be back next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. The reason I asked Dennis is because you had that choir rehearsal 2 weeks ago. Is that typical? Is that not typical?
No.
Is it?
It's panic.
Oh.
We have them on Wednesday nights.
Oh, it was.
And they just were. The director was getting concerned.
Oh.
And I kept telling him, I said, "Don't worry about it," because I knew kind of how it has to lay out.
Right.
Because I'm doing the blocking.
Oh, okay.
But we ran the whole show, which is good.
That's good.
Yeah. So we're just running the show, and at that point, things are good. It's very good. I mean, there's some really great stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy. The people are very cooperative, very pleasant.
That's great.
You know,
Well, I hope I can. I
it
hope I
is
can
fun.
hear it. I hope I can hear the
Oh,
concert.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So, folks, we are wrapping up, and so last few couple of comments before we go. Oh, there's one more thing I want to tell you. When we do wrap up for the day, you're going to see this screen right here, and that's going to be, if you want to reach out to me or send me an email or follow me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, that's how you can find me, Dr. Selfridge. Okay, you'll see that at the end of the show when we finish up. So, here's a question from. Sophia. Sophia has introduced us to. Is that Janice right there? That emoji, Sophia? Little dress, little pair of shoes, nice. Here's a comment or a question from Facebook. 440 for tuning. Okay. Here's a quick explanation. 440 means vibrations per second. So all sound is created by vibrating air molecules through the air. Vibrating string, vibrating vocal cords create vibrations that go through the air. The vibrations bump the air molecules until it reaches your eardrum, and your eardrum vibrates at the same frequency. And our brains interpret that as a note or as sound. So 440, let me turn down my music for a second. 440 is the exact frequency of a tuning note that is the standard tuning note that orchestras use, is the A440. That's 440 exact cycles per second. Some orchestras, depending on the history of music, it's been said by I'm not a music historian, but in different times, different eras, the standard frequency for A had been different, maybe like 435 or something like that. Music history, people who know music history will correct me, but the current standard is 440, and that's what that means. Okay, frequency. Okay. So, guys, thank you all for your our lively comment section today. And thank you for a great show. Despite we managed to do it, despite me being one-handed. And I think, depending on how my fingers work next week, I may be able to play. Or 2 weeks from now, we're off next week. I may be able to play. I might not be able to play. But despite that, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for your well wishes. Hopefully, I'm all better soon. Dennis, thanks to you for another great show.
Great. And tell everybody to do well in their concerts.
Oh, yeah. Good luck to everyone on your concerts as we finish up the school year. Thank you to Teresa in the chat. And you might have noticed Joe wasn't here today. Joe is away on a little trip, so we wish him well. And everybody else, have a great week. Again, the next screen you'll see is how you can contact me or follow me on social media. So I want to make sure I say hi to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thank you for joining us. A good friend of ours. Annette, happy Sunday to Annette. And thank you to Sophia and our new friend Janice. And Joshua. Yeah. Kids like to talk sometimes, but hopefully you guys have a great week. 2 weeks, okay? We're not on next week. And until then, make sure you practice and have a lot of fun, and bring me your questions next time. Okay, guys, I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye-bye.